Welcome everybody. This is our first in-person meeting since the last time I was president. I mean, when Lorenzo took over, the lockdown happened that month. And so they did a fantastic job as well as they could online only for this whole year. In fact, we filmed the symposium back in February and it broadcasted online in April. But with, restrictions being lifted over time as we've come back to doing mostly normal things, I said, we need to start doing this in person. I think it's a good idea to still offer the Zoom option. As we see, we have half of our attendance today is actually here on Zoom. And because Brendan is a technological guru, he made it work. So when somebody from Zoom wants to address us, they can unmute and address us, and we'll hear you over the loudspeaker. So don't accidentally unmute yourself if you don't want us to hear what's going on. So I'm excited to be back as president this year. I wasn't planning on it. Lorenzo asked me a few months ago if he could nominate me. He actually was not going to seek re-election because he got a full-time job with Prison Fellowship. So congratulations to him. So before we get into the rest of the agenda for today, I wanted to welcome Gregg Kennard. He runs this place. This is a ministry that he founded, and I wanted him to just kind of tell you about himself and what he does here, and welcome us.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm Gregg Kennard. I'm the founder and senior pastor of NSPIRE Outreach. We're just celebrating our 22nd year. In the last 15 years, we've been offering transitional residential programs to end homelessness and domestic violence specifically. So we've served thousands of folks across this 15-year period. Right now, we serve about 70 at a time, and then we try our best to be a holistic one-stop shop with housing, job training, continued education, counseling services, mental health access, continued education, life skills training, financial literacy. So someone comes to us, usually from a treatment center or reentry from the correctional facility, or perhaps a mental health facility or the Bridge or other homeless service organizations that they've been a part of, and they're referred to us. And we have basically 3 phases of our program. The first one is 13 weeks. The cost of that program is $0, and they get all the services that I mentioned. They work as an unpaid intern for that 13 weeks in the organization. We have a clothing drive. So we use our clothing drive as a place for job training, working on soft skills, so that at the end of 13 weeks, they're ready to move into phase 2, which is an employment program. And they have the option of working with us or finding an outside job. By that time, they're in an employment rhythm and ready to get to work. There is a program fee of $500 for the second phase of the program, which represents 1/3 of the cost. The program subsidizes the other 2/3 of the cost. And so that program could be anywhere from 6 to 24 months, depending on their goal set. Usually it's related to if they're going to school, getting a certification or a degree. Then the third phase of the program, if someone needs continued support, it's called NSPIRE 2.0. The requirements are much less, but this serves as more of a sober living housing program. We have a number of folks who are retired. They don't have any family anywhere. We have become their family, their tribe, their community. So they've stayed on with us, been with us 10, 11, 12 years as they're aging. And so we have a few clients in that bracket, also some who have a disability, and we're just a good place for them to live. So we're pleased that you're with us. This is it takes a village, as you know, and we're just one stakeholder among many trying to solve a problem. So we're just pleased that you're here today, and been a part of GGRA for a number of years. It's just very important work, and I thank you and applaud you for being a part of this solution. Thank you.
So I wanted to give an update. One of the jobs of the president is to fill out the advisory board. When I became president the first time, we rearranged the bylaws to split the leadership. So there's the 4 of us who kind of just run the day-to-day operations of the organization. Myself, I'm the president. Brendan Spaar is returning for his 2nd year as VP, 3rd year on the executive committee though. He was secretary before that, right? And then Angela Matthews is our new secretary, and Candace Morrow, who's with us on Zoom, is our new treasurer. But then we also have the advisory board, and they are a collection of folks from the community and the government and the sheriff's office that I would report to a couple of times a year about just how we're keeping in line with our mission and vision. and they can offer suggestions or whatever. Or if I was not doing my job, they could recommend that I be removed. So I want to just update y'all with who I've reached out to so far. I have not set a date yet for our first meeting. I'm hoping to do that probably on Zoom in June, because with everybody having, with like 8 different schedules plus mine, 9 different schedules, it's a lot easier to meet on Zoom than to try to line up a place to meet. So the first position, this is one of my choosing. This is just a person I choose from our organization or from the community that I think has, their heart for serving in the same place as that of our organization. So that's Matt Davis from Obria. From DCS, I have Debra Kelley Whitfield. From the sheriff's office, I have asked, it'll probably be Lieutenant Hale, Gennaro Hale. He's relatively new, working with GRIP, or else it might be Major Bice, who oversees him, and she's kind of over other community outreach stuff. Past president Lorenzo Lewis, founding member Russell Gray, who's with us here today. From the State House, Representative Kennard, who just spoke. I have reached out to a few people from the state Senate, and I'm waiting to hear back confirmation. So that seat is still unfilled. And our impacted citizen is Lee Robbins, who's also with us on Zoom today. So that's where we are with that. So I have that 1 seat left to fill, and then I need to line up our first meeting sometime next month, which is approaching fast. So I guess I should get on that. And now I'm going to have our VP, Brendan Spaar, come up. He's very involved in keeping an ear to what's going on down at the state capitol and fighting for changes that are going to benefit the justice-involved population that we serve. And so he likes to get up here routinely and kind of let us know what's going on and what new developments have taken place. So come on up here, Brendan.
Oh, the long walk. Hey, everybody. I'm Brendan Spaar. I'm the Vice President of GGRA, and I'm also a kind of policy analyst, legislative advocate up there at the Capitol, or I guess down there at the Capitol from here. As Rachel said, had my ear to the ground, was up there testifying on some bills that went through and some bills that kind of stalled this year. The only one that really deals with reentry that I'll talk about today is Senate Bill 105 that the governor actually signed into law last Monday. And GGRA was a strong supporter of that, along with Reform Alliance with Simone over there. If you haven't talked to Simone yet, please introduce yourself to her. She is awesome, and they do some great work here in Georgia. So Senate Bill 105, if you got our emails, you remember it's the one for early termination of probation. And that was unanimously passed by the Senate, and I believe only 2 representatives in the House voted against it. So it's almost overwhelmingly supportive. And what it would do is early terminate someone who was sentenced to less than 1 year of prison with their first offense, as long as they've served 3 years on probation, 2 of those years being revocation free. So it doesn't go by the crime, it goes by the time. How much time was sentenced and how much time have you served. A DA can petition it, as you heard on our town hall a few weeks ago. DA Austin Gatson mentioned that she would probably not stand in the way, her office wouldn't, unless it was extreme circumstances. So that's encouraging. And the prosecuting counsel of Georgia is supportive of this bill. So we don't really see DAs standing in the way of this unless there's some kind of crazy extreme circumstance. But even if there were, you get your day in court. You get to go and hire an attorney or go and petition on your own and challenge the district attorney and fight for your early termination. But if there's no objection, it just goes right through. So that's incredibly awesome. It's going to free up, I believe, 30 to 40,000 people on probation today out of almost 200,000 in Georgia. So it's a significant chunk of people coming off of probation. Now, although the governor signed it into law last Monday, it doesn't go into effect until July 1st. We don't know what that's going to look like on July 1st. Are there just going to be 40,000 orders coming through to the courts all at once? Are they going to stagger it? We just don't know what's going to happen yet. But yeah, there will be a lot of off-paper parties, as I like to say. It's going to be just an amazing day when people do come off of probation early. But that will take effect July the 1st. The governor did sign it, and is very encouraged that the governor signed a bill, and a bill was passed with no exclusionary language in it. A lot of times we want to put exclusionary language in to soften it or to make it an easier pill to swallow. We say, well, we'll exclude this crime or we'll exclude that crime for the greater good. This had no exclusionary language of any crime. It passed, the governor signed it, nobody had any issue with it. So it's proof that that can happen. Exclusionary language is not necessary. Let's do reform for all. So that's really all I've got. Any questions about anything that I may have, because all I'm going to cover is 105. That's really the only one that applies to us, but.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if there was anything that is being drafted that they're going to present next.
There's some bad stuff still on the table. There's some setbacks still on the table that died. Most of the bills, as Gregg can probably attest, were all voter reform and some of the hot button issues of this past year, immigration reform, voter reform, some things like that. There's still some bad stuff out there that will creep up again. The way the legislature works is you've got 2 years to get something across the line. We had our first year of the session this year. Next year will be the second year. So anything that's still on the vine is still growing and still could go through next year. So there's still some stuff we're going to watch. It's not really wise to tell you about it right now because we've got 6 months or a year before that's going to come back up. But we will be sending emails and we will tell you about it whenever it's necessary. Any questions, comments about legislation? If anyone on Zoom, just unmute yourself and you can ask. Cool. Thanks, everybody.
All right, so our first main speaker for the day is Tracy Joseph, and he is with an organization here in Lawrenceville called Streetwise Georgia. And if you don't know where they are, they're on Cedars Road, which crosses 316, and it's practically across 316 from the sheriff's office. And I've been amazed in the past couple of years when I've asked people, especially those in these circles, like, well, have you ever heard of Streetwise Georgia? And they're like, no. I'm like, it's been around for so long. So I decided I would reach out and have them come and speak today and share about their organization and what they do. So y'all please welcome Tracy Joseph.
Good afternoon, all. Thanks for having me. It is a different approach. It's Streetwise Georgia has been in existence for 35 plus years. If you were in church in Middle Georgia, you probably saw Baskin in Sunshine. It was a child's ministry. They dressed as clowns and literally started their program by doing children's ministry. They later went into inner city Atlanta after a trip to Haiti, realized that Haiti existed in our cities, and decided to start Streetwise. And so what they would do Pat and Terry Powell would go into we had 2 buses. They had big, you've probably seen one of them if you've been down Cedars Road. It's still parked right up on the edge there. And they would go and teach Bible studies. We had a bus that was full of food, and we had a bus that was full of clothing. And it was the idea of creating mediums and interests that brought them to where they could preach the word. When the Olympics were announced, City of Atlanta, Fulton County decided that the projects were not what they wanted the world to see. They began to bulldoze those. And so those arenas that they were preaching in were gone, but demographics stated a lot of these folks were heading towards Gwinnett County. This is mid-90s. Gwinnett County was still pretty wide open, had space, affordability. And so that's where a lot of the folks, they went. And so we set up a brick and mortar. That one was also on Cedars Road. At that time, that was an 8,000 square foot building that they operated out of. Just in 2017, we had an angel investor purchase the building that happened to be right next door that we've now got 25,000 square feet of facility. And to kind of I'll read, not the only thing I'll actually read, and I've got a brochure for any of you that would like to have that, more specifics, how to get in touch with us. But the mission of Streetwise Georgia is to offer the necessary physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual tools to help people stabilize their lives, improve their environment, and move out of a state of dependency into a state of well-being and self-sufficiency. So pre-COVID, we had lots of things that we could work on in that realm. COVID obviously put the brakes on a lot of it. So our focus of services, while we are a Christian ministry, our baseline is to save the lost, to help the hurting. And our medium, obviously, at this point is food. So currently, by volume, we're the largest food pantry in Gwinnett County. We're able to serve about 600 families a month. We have a mobile food pantry one Saturday a month where we'll serve 240 to 250 families, and they will receive somewhere between 100 and 150 pounds of food. From there, they can drive around our building and they can meet with a counselor or a prayer warrior and try to see if there's other places that we can help them. We used to do that within the building. A part of our process, they would come and meet with an advisor and we'd try to find out what's going on. What puts you in this place? Is this a generational poverty issue? Is this situational because of employment or job or poor decisions? And so try to set them on a way that we could go. That's also a spiritual conversation. We are a ministry. Where we would go from there is then get them throughout the building to help them out wherever we can. We have a clothing department, and even COVID, we were able to distribute approximately 10,000 articles of clothing. And these are top of the line. This is not stuff we wouldn't wear ourselves. We want them dressed for success. We're actually meeting with them. Is this for a job interview? Is this for church? Is this for your particular job? That obviously if they're going to interview at Home Depot, we're not going to suit them up in a three-piece. And so our goal is to help them in every way that we can. From there, it's the food. During the week, we serve 30 families a day. Again, pre-COVID, we would meet with them. We'd spend 20, 30 minutes with them, find out what's going on in their life, what we can help them with, what other resources can we do. COVID changed all that, so our focus is on the clothing on an appointment basis. We roll it out to the curb, and they can come and shop. No questions asked, full dignity. It's yours to take. The food we've had to morph into kind of what we do for the mobile food pantry, where they get 150 to 170 pounds of food. We fill their car. This is meat. They'll get 50 pounds of meat. It may be steak, it may be fish, chicken, any of those things. They get fresh produce, 40 pounds of fresh produce. From there, it's cereals and dry goods and all these things. And we're trying to help them get through a period of time. Some of these will be repeat. Some of these are in a place where we know we can't get them off the system, what we call graduate out of Streetwise. When we can ramp back up, we're much like what you were speaking about, Gregg, with the life skill classes. We want to get them to a place that we don't just teach them how to open a bank account, but what do you do financially? How do we raise your credit score? How do you read your credit score? How do you read an offer, a job offer, an offer that comes in for a credit card? We're trying to teach them financial skills that allow them to remain stable. The same goes mental health. COVID is only going to exacerbate it, in our opinion, especially with the teens, which we're going after dramatically. We're worried about the teens. We know they're vulnerable. We are in the process trying to set up an advisory board of folks that can counsel us. How do we deal with the teens? Do we bring them here? Do we go to them? Does it create a transportation problem? And so we're looking to see how we get them and try to break some cycles for them, get them to a place that's safe, that they're getting the encouragements and the direction that they need. And so those are some of the life skills that we'll go after. Mental health in general, depression that we know is coming out of the pandemic. And then other programs that we hope to get into as well that would allow us to mentor some of the young ones, study programs. We're expanding our senior programs. We do have vehicles so we can deliver, and if we need to, we've stayed away from that, but we're viewing, should we initiate some delivery so we can get to the seniors. So the goal is Streetwise and positioning with you folks was we realized that a lot of the people that would be coming out of programs are still going to need a little bit of help. And so we've got programs certainly for the food, where if they need a booster for a month or two, we can vet that. Maybe we create programs with what you folks are doing to where we know that we give them 1, 3, 6 months of where we can help them, and they would be able to come and meet, pick up the food, perhaps the clothing, and give them a boost going forward as they're trying to get reestablished. So that's kind of the thumbnail scratch. And I thought from there, I'd just open it up. I know a lot of you hadn't heard about us. We are on Cedars Road. If you go down Cedars Road, we're basically just past the runway. And you can't miss us because it either says faith, love, and hope over the doorways or the big white bus with Streetwise is on the side. So any questions, anything I can answer for you?
Thank you so much. This is awesome.
Sure.
Are you guys located any other parts of Georgia or any other states or anywhere other than here?
We aren't currently. We are viewing satellites in the future. We had been heading that direction on a county by county basis, but then COVID, we pulled everything back, put it on hold for about 2 years, and then we'll look. We have folks that travel distance. We do not keep our clients mandatory Gwinnett County residents. So we do have people from Hall, Walton. On our mobile food pantries, it's kind of a no questions asked for that. They register online. We know we've got people coming as far away as Woodstock, downtown Atlanta, stuff for the mobile food pantry. Ma'am.
What type of identification or what type of credentials does someone need when they come or register with you all? I know you said with the mobile, it's not, but.
Mobile food pantry, of course, is no questions asked. They sign up online. We do have some phone line space that we use for seniors or those that don't have internet. To become a client, you do have to have a social security number or the work ID and a driver's license. And that's all that we ask for. Pre-COVID, and we are doing a soft launch June 1st to try to absorb about 1,400 folks over the last year that we've not been able to vet. We've not had those face-to-face conversations about what's going on in their life. From there, we will start to pursue again a level of income verification. Most of our clients are poverty or below. So we've inched that up and moved that because of COVID, because of furloughs, unemployments, those type of things. We've tried to expand and allow a little bit more room. So, but those are the three basic things that they have to have.
So what's the timeline? You mentioned June, like what's kind of your timeline for launching various services over the next few months, and like what will those services be?
We're measuring obviously what's coming out of the White House, CDC, and everything else as far as allowing people back in the building. Our first goal, obviously, is we have to protect our volunteers. We work on 6 staff and 100 volunteers, give or take, and that revolves day to day. The average age of our volunteer is 70 years old, which, by the way, let's talk volunteering. And really want you to go and look at our site. We need volunteers all the time. I need to double our base so that we can increase. We're turning people away, but we've got to double our volunteer base. And that's packing food boxes, that's doing admin work, that's putting the stuff in people's cars. That's, you name it, and we need it. And we're open 5 days a week. We also do the mobile food pantry on the second Saturday of each month. We're gearing in stages, Rachel, so the June 1st is a soft launch to see how we absorb those that we've not been able to vet over the last year that are face-to-face with what we call client advisors. Are our clients comfortable coming into the offices? Are they comfortable? How are we going to stage the rooms? How are we going to create the flow into the building so that if someone ends up being contaminated in some port, I hate that phrase, but it's the CDC's, we can keep it contained. We don't need it in 25,000 square foot of building. So we're trying to figure out flow. The idea is that we would do a soft 2 weeks after that, we'd be able to start seeing as many as 10 families of the 30 that we're serving. 20 will still remain curbside, 10 will begin to come inside and be counseled and vetted. The life skill programs we're completely revamping. And so we're looking at maybe August that we'd be able to get those in and hopefully be allowed to open the building in full. We've got 2 very large training rooms, one about this large and one that's probably stage size, that's set up with screens and everything that we need, so we can have really robust programs, but it's got to be safe to get them in. So we're gunning for October, but we're also redefining. Our programs before were a little what I call remedial. They were too simplistic. I don't think that they were covering what an individual needs, that at the end of that program, it'll stick. And they've actually got workable knowledge and workable skills.
And when you're done, or you can do this verbally or whatever, I would like Brendan to make sure we put the name of the organization, the address, and the best phone number and email to contact.
Sure.
On Zoom.
I can give it now, or I can also meet with Brendan. We're Streetwise Georgia. The website is streetwisegeorgia.org. And we are at 1770 Cedars Road, and that's Lawrenceville. And the phone number, I'll give you cards, another thing, it's best to go online. Our phones are so wrapped up with people trying to get in. Desperate people do desperate things. It is fascinating to me how they have found all of our phone lines, our office lines, and my main personal line. I love their, I love it how they go for it. So we're working on our phone systems because you wouldn't get through right now. So, but I have my cards, and certainly am more than happy for all of you to have that because it has my cell phone on there, and love to meet with all of you. We are looking, me personally, indeed, I'm taking over. Tell me when you do I told you have to do this with me. I've been sitting on the board for a number of years. Our founder passed away a year ago, February. Terry Powell passed away. And so our board very quickly became an operating board, and had to really kind of figure out where we were, what we were left with, and where we go forward. And so we are in the midst of a lot of changes. And so for me personally, one of my big goals is to get connected to as many agencies and many partners as possible, whether those are other nonprofits, whether those are governmental or church. My goal is, number one, accelerate my personal and professional growth within the region. I was a businessman. I was not in ministry. I participated, but was not in that same realm. And so I've got some learning curves. But we get a lot. We have abundance. And there's times that if we don't give it away or find someone we can share it with, it ends up in a dumpster, which drives me nuts. So we've been able to establish 8 partnerships. That might be Home of Hope, Home First, some of these things that we can put out a call and say, hey, we've got 20 pallets of grapes and we can handle 4. Who can come get them? Or we get mattresses. We get things because of our alliances with Costco and Walmart. We're getting entire bedroom sets, mattresses, heaters, gosh, you name it, what we get there. So we're looking, who can we provide the mattresses to? Are there folks that set up apartments when they're done and out of a program? Pardon me. Time of year. So we're looking to increase those partners in a dramatic way as well. So I'd love to meet any of you that have that kind of thing, and we can set up time. And I would love anybody that'd like to see a tour of our facility, please reach out. Love you to see it. I think it speaks volumes when you can see it and see our volunteers in action and how we're able to serve people. And that may inspire you for ideas and help for us, and I hope in return. Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right. Our DCS community coordinator, Debra Kelley Whitfield, is with us on Zoom. So Brendan, if you'll pin her kind of as the main, for those of you who are on Zoom, you can't tell it, but right above my head, that little gold frame, it's a big screen and we can see all of you. So don't pick your nose or anything because we'll see it. All right, Debra, we're going to have just a quick update from you, whatever you want to share.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize. I was originally going to be there in person, but I was traveling about 35, 40 miles to get there. So I said, well, maybe next one. So please accept my apologies. Just wanted to run real quick. I am the new community coordinator. I've been in this position for Gwinnett County about 15 months. So I guess I wouldn't consider that new anymore. My main focus working with DCS, probation parole, is to focus on our returning citizens to assist them with intensive case management. The three main goals that we focus on as community coordinators, I like to say community coordinators / case management, because that's what we're doing is case management, is housing, employment, as well as mental health. I have one of my co-workers on here, Ms. Ware, who also helps in the field in the area of the mental health. We focus on providing housing resources, employment resources, as well as mental health resources. I have a spreadsheet that I work off of every month. We have an actual 90-day outlook on each individual who's getting out across the entire state of Georgia. And we have almost in every county in Georgia, a community coordinator. If we don't have a community coordinator in that county, such as example, Winder. I'm new to the state of Georgia. I've been down here a little over a year, so I'm not exactly sure of all the smaller counties, but Winder, sometimes I will help a returning citizen in Winder, or my supervisor, Tanya White, who is in Hall County, so it kind of borders, so she will assist me as well with individuals that's coming out to Winder. We have a 5-day waiting period. Well, not waiting period. They allow us 5 days to get in touch with this individual. Usually, I don't reach out on the first day. I try to start reaching out on the second day. On that first day, I kind of want to give them time to get acclimated, spend time with their family, and just give them breathing room to say, okay, what is my next step? When I reach out, the first thing I like to talk to them about is, I'm sorry, and I left out Affordable Care Act insurance. And let me say, with the returning citizen, usually if they're coming out of jail or incarceration from a prison, we have 60 days to get them signed up for the Affordable Care Act insurance. With our new president, President Biden, they have extended the enrollment period, and we have till August 15th to enroll returning citizens or anybody that will fall under the guidelines of under the Affordable Care Act to get them signed up. But I focus on health insurance, stable housing, if they need help with food, whether it be SNAP benefits or other outside resources that help them with food and employment. I have 2 great employers that I am working with that are second chance employers. And of course, they have a 90-day waiting period. But with 2 employers, after that 90 days, if the subject shows up, goes above and beyond, no tardiness, to work on time, and shows that they want to work, they hire them permanently with all the bells and whistles, with insurance and everything, as well as one of my second chance employees. They assist me with our sex offender population, which everyone knows that is hard to find sometimes with our sex offenders. So I have 2 great employees that I'm working with to help me as well. That's my position in a nutshell. I know I don't have that much time, so I wanted to leave a little bit of time if anybody had any questions for me. Right now, I did touch on our housing. We do focus on housing, whether it be community resources or whether it be our RPH, reentry housing. Right now, with our reentry housing, it's kind of on hold. We are still accepting applications. I am completing applications. I work one-on-one with our community officers, our CSOs, the probation and parole officers, to assist with housing. We are still doing the applications, but right now, those applications are being reviewed, and they look at them once a returning citizen completes the program or leaves the program. Our housing, our reentry housing looks at the application and then places the individual on the criteria. So that's my position in a nutshell. If you guys remember, like Rachel was saying earlier, I came to one GGRA meeting when I first started. I started this position May 2nd, May 13th, because of the pandemic. I've been working from home, so I try to attend all the meetings when possible, as well as have my own steering team to get out virtual to meet different resources. I plan on the upcoming months to get out. I am fully vaccinated, so if this rain will clear up. I think we've had bad weather the past 2 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Once this rain clears up, I plan on getting out into the community in Lawrenceville. I'll be coming from Rockville County to get out and meet face to face with my coworkers as well as the community resources. If anyone has any questions,
If you're on Zoom and you have a question, you can just unmute. Does anyone here live have a question? All right. Okay, I had a meeting on Zoom about 2 weeks ago because we were scared. There was word going around that GRIP is going away. And so they were like, no, it's not going away. It's been placed under a different department and new people assigned. And so Major Janice Bice, who was already with the sheriff's office, I already knew her and had spoken to her before. She's over community outreach or something. It's a new department that has taken some other things under its banner, and one of those is GRIP. So Lieutenant Gennaro Hare, H-A-R-E, like the rabbit, is the head of GRIP, and so he'll be kind of our main correspondent, and so hopefully we can get him to come to the meeting next month. They've obviously gone through the same lockdowns for the past 15 months or 14 months that we have, so it's been a little difficult. They're slowly opening some things back up. They've just allowed for like these individual one-on-one kind of meetings. The only classes I think they've been having were some for the veterans pods, but maybe those might even have only been on Zoom. I know I've had folks, because I used to go there on Thursday nights to do Bible study, and I've had other folks who went in ask me if have allowed that yet, and I'm like, no, they haven't. They still are not allowing the general kind of in-person visitation stuff that they did before. So hopefully, we'll see. I hope that kind of stuff will open back up soon. Our next main presenters are Adam Pitts and Ron Gauthier from the Gwinnett County Library. And Tracy was asking when he was sitting here speaking with with the folks from the library, he was asking, how are y'all involved in the GGRA? And I wanted to pipe, I didn't do this, but I wanted to pipe in and say, well, actually, I can't remember. I feel like Matt Davis connected me to Ron about 2 years ago, and he came and just did this amazing presentation at one of our meetings at the jail about all the different online things that the Gwinnett County Library System offers, and we had no idea existed. And so now he and Adam have been working on this special program that they're going to come and talk about. And at some point during the presentation, we will see a video that they posted that I saw on Facebook, which was really well done. Let me just say, from a videography production standpoint, it was great video. So if you will, please welcome Adam Pitts and Ron Gauthier.
Okay, everyone, we're super excited to be here. So let me say that some of you are familiar with the program. So I will introduce it to everyone who's new and reacquaint everyone who already knows about the program with some of the amazing things that it can do. So we have a program that was based on a grant that we wrote, and we did get funding from the American Library Association and Google. Yes, the big Google. So it's great. So we decided to target the population. The grant was designed to specifically build entrepreneurship hubs in low-income or at-risk communities. So we decided, what's an at-risk community with our library? We work with many. We thought the returning citizens constituted a community that we felt was totally overlooked, invisible to a degree. So they deal with a lot of hardships, first of all. They're returning to the community. And during their reintegration into society, they're faced with this pernicious prejudice against them in just about every area. Job search, housing, and so on and so forth. So if you think about that, a second chance really becomes, to a degree, a second sentence. Not in name, but factually, that's what it is. So we wanted to do everything we can to help them reintegrate into society and be successful. So one of those areas of discrimination, job discrimination, we have a good formula. What if some of these men and women, talented, who had skills and abilities to start their own businesses, could do exactly that? Manufacture something that could manifest their destiny. So the program is designed for 6 months. Our students will take courses in how to become an entrepreneur. The course is totally free. Our students get a mentor, someone who's worked in the field in entrepreneurship, who's very experienced, who works with them throughout the duration of the program. Also, they get a free laptop. So while they're enrolled, they got a laptop. It gets even better. Some of them have connectivity issues. Some of them just have an inability to have internet access. We also provide them with a hotspot. So wherever you are, you've got internet access. And then we follow them through. So their courses offered every month. The courses are usually on a Thursday from, is that 6:30, Alan? 6:30 to 7:30. It's virtual now because initially the program was designed to be in person. Hopefully we'll get back to that. The courses, we require them to work. There's some work they have to put into it, but they'll learn a lot. They'll acquire the skills to be very successful to start their own business. Once they start their own businesses, then you can escape some of that pernicious prejudice that surrounds job placement, of securing a job, just a handout asking an employer to give you a second chance when maybe they won't. When you have your own business, you're the employer. You make better decisions. So we're excited. Adam's going to do a Q&A in a minute. So this program is around. The second cohort starts in June, and we'll continue that for 6 months and complete it. We need as many people as possible to apply. Now, qualifications, someone asked me, could this apply to those who are outside of the ex-offender community? No, we're targeting this population because we determined that they need to help from us. And we want to make sure that they have adequate resources and a fair opportunity to get back out there into the community and be what they're supposed to be, second chance citizens, not second sentence citizens. So I'm going to bring Adam to answer any Q&A.
Thanks, Ron. Hi, everyone. I'm Adam Pitts. I'm the manager of the Lawrenceville branch. And I just want to mention a few other things before we get to the Q&A, a few other nice incentives that we're offering for our upcoming second cohort. Not only do the participants get a laptop and hotspot for use during the program, but we will give them a Windows laptop to keep if they complete the program in good standing, meaning that they have no more than one missed in-person class. And that laptop will be loaded with QuickBooks to help get their business up and running. We are also going to be offering a Shark Tank style pitch session. We've gotten some donors who are willing to hear their business ideas and potentially offer them some funding, depending on the potential of their idea. And we're also going to offer them a free book that they get to keep at each in-person meeting. So it's basically 6 books total on an entrepreneurship or business topic like Napoleon Hill or some of the other classics, as well as some of the newer titles that will help them kind of get in the right mindset for starting a business. So we are asking that all the applicants, please get their applications in by May 30th. And the application form, yes, thank you, Brendan, is on our website. I have some flyers and brochures as well, so if anybody would like to take one, just come see me afterward. But I can take Q&A now if anybody has any questions. Yes.
Fantastic program, thank you. Is there a window of time for when they were released for corrections to apply? Is there Has to be months, years, or weeks?
No time stipulation on that. So anybody who has just previously served time, regardless of how recently or how long ago, they are eligible.
And how, is there a cap on how many participants, he was asking to fill up this group, is there a cap on how many can apply or qualify?
Well, we're hoping to have about 15 participants total in the program. We want to keep the numbers down so that we can, offer that one-on-one support through both the mentors and us. So.
Did y'all max out 15 this go round?
Unfortunately, no. That's one thing we're hoping to do this for the second cohort, is to have a larger applicant pool to select from. And I definitely think that we're going to with our marketing campaign. So, yes.
This is awesome. You guys reach out to your community citizens? How do they find out about you guys in the program?
Well, primarily it's through outreach like this, and also in our branches. We're promoting it there and posting our signage there. We're doing a social media campaign, as you'll see in the video in just a moment. So there's various channels, but a lot of it's actually just word of mouth and that way. So, any other questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Is it limited to Gwinnett County?
No, it's not limited, but we are asking everybody who applies to be able to make it to the in-person monthly meeting. So as long as they can do that, then they're eligible.
Do you have a question?
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. Kudos to you guys for focusing on returning citizens. Thank you so much for what you guys doing. Ron, good to see you as well. My question is, do you guys have continuous support after they complete the class, like a mentor, coach, or somebody like that?
Yes, and in fact, we're using some of our grant funds to purchase some additional public use laptops and materials for the collection that will help support entrepreneurs after they get out of the class. And yes, they will have extended support from the mentors as well.
Okay.
Could you give an example of maybe a success story or something one of us working on as far as what kind of entrepreneur, what they're kind of doing, please?
Yes, in fact, Kevin Moore, who's featured in our promotional video, is going to be starting a moving company. And so that is his business idea. He's kind of in still the formative stage of that, but it is going well. He's got his business plan. He's looking forward to promoting or pitching that idea at the Shark Tank session. So it's looking very promising. Yeah, and we've had some other participants who are interested in like landscaping. We had somebody who had prototyped an invention that they're hoping to sell. So a wide variety of backgrounds. Yeah.
Just for clarification, you said that it is open to people outside of the Gwinnett County area if they have transportation and can make it to the meetings?
Yes, the meetings are being held at our Lilburn branch on Church Street. So it's once a month. It's at 6:30 p.m. the first Thursday of each month. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, Brendan, I guess we can show the video. But if anybody would like the brochures and posters, please do see me. Did you? Okay, certainly.
When I walk through the door, that'll make you change your mind pretty fast. I don't want to be here. It's uncomfortable. You can't do what you want to do. You can't eat when you want to eat. It's pretty rough.
We've all been through some tough times, especially with a conviction and incarceration.
5 years there and 5 years in state.
You aren't alone, and you can ask for help.
One of our main missions is to make sure that we get our resources, turn them outward, and mobilize into the community.
The biggest challenge that a formerly incarcerated person faces is the stigma behind their incarceration or their criminal record.
So we're enabling them to take their skills to start their own businesses.
Pretty much you have to be determined to want change in order to change.
So what we wanted to do was to create entrepreneurship hubs in underserved communities.
To have someone actually extend that hand, that is so valuable.
The classes are actually kind of fun.
Writing a business plan,
advertising. I learned where I would need to advertise.
Accounting, marketing, so you could be really clear and coherent about how do you actually start a business.
To really be a successful entrepreneur, you have to develop the right mindset.
While they're enrolled, they get an actual laptop. We also provide a hotspot so they can have internet access 24/7.
If you have a skill, and most of us do, that you can contribute, then why don't you start your own business, and why wait?
Put your mind to it, you can do anything.
To become not only the boss, but the owner of your company and hopefully your destiny.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but the winning is great.
Here at the end, we always do a have a need, meet a need. Before we do that right quick, I want to ask, is there anyone who is here for the first time on Zoom that wants to introduce themselves and what they do? We have some that are first time here in person. We'll get to. Is there any organization represented or ministry on Zoom that wants to introduce themselves having come for the first time? Yeah, we got a hand up right there. Just unmute and go ahead and speak to us.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Annie Hunter. I am a program manager from Positive Impact Health Centers, and I work in the addiction department. And thanks for inviting us.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Now, let's see, we have another organization. Are y'all two together here? Looks like she got a call here all of a sudden.
Okay, but I would be remiss if I introduced our organization without her being here.
Yeah.
She's my boss.
Oh, okay. In a few minutes, then we'll get back to y'all. And we're going to do have a need, meet a need. And I know specifically we have someone here that I invited because they had a need. So Claudia, can you go ahead and share your friend and the need y'all specifically have?
I'm Claudia, the wife, and this is the church and her neighbor. And I have a friend that this is a very weak from prison. Fred out to the third home to me. He has some challenges, he's missionary in American society. We have some issues at home that I kind of how to deal with. They had, effect on me as well. And so, I had to talk to her about some issues that I had. She reached out to me, she knew, and that's how I ended up here. That I can be social information and help. My son.
So Brendan, maybe you can type up like a little abbreviated version of that in the chat in case, I don't know if she's close enough to any of the mics for everybody to hear that clearly. So she has a son who's returned out of incarceration living with her, or he just moved out, or his housing situation is kind of up in the air right now.
He did leave about a week ago, but I don't know what his status is right now. I think he just kind of staying with some friends right now.
So are you looking for someone to help him with more permanent transportation as well as like life coaching kind of coming alongside him? Okay. If you're on Zoom or here in person and you can reach out and personally help her, you can let us know, you can speak up on Zoom right now.
Yeah, I will assume, Rachel, this is the individual that I was going to meet if I was there in person.
Yes.
We'll love to speak with you more and even speak with your son in more detail. We do have housing in Gwinnett, but we also have life coaching as well as transportation. So I'm going to give my number out to you. You can give me a call. It is 678-231-1221. My name is Lee Robbins. 678-231-1221. We'll be glad to see if we can serve your son.
And Matthew, do you still work with that organization? So Matthew is here in person. He can speak to you too if you want to after the meeting.
Absolutely.
Any other have a need, meet a need? All right, let me go ahead and bring these two folks up and y'all can introduce yourselves and your organization and what you do.
Okay.
Hi, Hi, my name is Debra Calloway. I started an organization in 2018. It was called Amber's House, Hearts to Assist. It was an organization to help veterans get back on their feet, to be stable, so that they could just focus on the things that they need to do in order to get back together, to get their lives back together. I started in my own house, started out in my own house. I just ran across some veterans. I heard a couple of stories. I worked with schizophrenic, I worked with bipolar, and then I just got a liking with the veterans. So I got with the veterans and I brought a couple of them in and we all worked together, helped them out. In my household, they were level 3 and 4. So after I did that for a year, it was a lot of work. So I decided to take the money that I had earned from the veterans and I purchased another house. And I purchased this house in Decatur. And I wanted to use that house as a platform to open up a bigger organization for the veterans. And so I wanted to make that house, it was 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. I wanted to name that house Amber's Works. And I wanted to use it as a platform for them to come in and maybe be like a transitional housing to stay maybe 3, 4, 6 months, get on their feet, and then go to being their own place of like a pass-through for them. One of the guys that stayed with me before, he was a level 4, and he was like, Debra, please, please, please. And I brung him in. Well, he has the income, but he just can't find housing for himself. I would love for someone to assist him to find, so he can find him a place so that I could put perhaps 5 or 6 people in here for transitional housing. Mr. Marvell McKnight, he is going to be the house manager, and he has a little more experience than I have with this. I've dealt with level 3, 4 patients, and it's a lot of work, but he has a lot of footwork out in the field, and he's welcoming, coming on board to assist me to get this organization going. I plan on having an open house so that people can come in and see the platform of what I'm trying to do so that I can take it to the next level. I really had a passion and a love for it, and this is what I want to do, and they all love me, so it doesn't seem like work to me. So I want to let Mr. McKnight speak about his expertise in it and see where we go from here. I would love all the opportunities, the knowledge, to share the people, just to get this platform going. It was really easy to start, but I just want to take it to the next level. I've mastered level 4, and it's a lot of work with level 3, 4 patients. I just want to deal with some of the patients that are self-sufficient, that just need a handout, not a push. My patients, I carry my patients, and that's a lot of weight. So I want to turn it over to Matt.
I am ready. Thank you, Debra. Thank you, Rachel.
Yes.
Am I correct? My name is Marvell McKnight. We're going to give you some background. I am, or was, I taught 7th and 8th grade. I moved here from Georgia some years ago. Some of you guys may be familiar with the Northeast Georgia Homeless Veterans Shelter. Yes. I was the program director at the Northeast Georgia Homeless Veterans Shelter, which is in Winder, big facility. On one side of the house, we house homeless vets. On the other side of the building, we house reentry people that you're talking about. We have a contract, or had, or still have, a contract with DCS, Department of Community Supervision. And so we house ex-offenders there as well. Get them for 90 days, get them on their feet, get them working and things like that. In the process of just life showing up, I meet Miss Calloway. Miss Calloway has a house in Decatur, Georgia, and one of the things she wants to do is house vets who need transition. They don't have anywhere to go, they need a room, they need somewhere to stay, they need a roof over their head, essentially. And so we're going to help them do that and move them from this point to that point. So this is what we call a level 1 care facility. When we talk about level 1 care facility, it means You can cook for yourself, you can clean for yourself, you can keep the house clean. You need a hand up, not a handout. And that's what this facility is based on, a hand up, not a handout. And so that's what we're trying to do. I am a grant writer. I do 501c3s. I do business plans, all that stuff like that. So if you need my information, Debra just gave me some business cards today, so I got a couple. But that's what we're trying to do. This is called Amber Works. Am I correct? This is Amber Works, 3-bedroom house, really nice house. If you run across any vets that need some help, let us know. And we'll make sure we get them from where they are to where they need to be. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. If you're new and you would like to join our organization, you can see Brendan after the meeting, or just visit gwinnettreentry.org, and there's a way to join. As your organization can be a partner organization, or you as an individual could just be an individual member. That's what I do every year. I'm just an individual member. Russell.
I wanted to speak on behalf of my personal experience with Debra Calloway, a friend of mine who was a veteran, find a place to stay, and really needed help. She went down, left her home and went down and picked him up where he was and brought him in, and it's been amazing to see the change take that place in his life. So praise God for you.
Amen.
Wanted to through the Gwinnett Veterans Resource Center, Danny Begon and I went down with Debra, met her there, and she showed us through this facility. And in fact, at that point, it was just open. I mean, you just got furniture in. And they're beautiful rooms, and there's a bath in each room. A walk-in, shower type, accessible to the handicapped even, and plenty of room. And I think you have people in there now, right?
I have people in there. I have 2 in there now. It's 6.
Right. So there's still room for more.
Room for 4 more.
If for veterans only at this point.
Yes.
And but she is also looking for opportunities to open a place here in Gwinnett County, and that's what we're working with her through Gwinnett Veterans Resource Center. And glad to have her show us some things too. And if we can help her find a place, we'd sure like to bring her into our Greater Gwinnett Reentry Alliance. You're welcome for that. There's no border. We take people from all over.
Yes, greater Gwinnett. It's like it's greater than Gwinnett. All the surrounding areas. All right, well, I'd love to thank everybody for coming today. And Lee wanted to share right quick an update of what he is doing through his work. So Lee, unmute yourself and tell us.
Well, thank you. Good to see you, Reverend. I appreciate you, the founder of GGRA. Hey, listen, we are doing a whole bunch of stuff. You already know about our housing, our jobs, our transportation that we're doing. And we are launching Tackle the Shackles. Tackle the Shackles. We have about 5 NFL football players that are coming on board as ambassadors to do a couple of things. One is to bring about awareness and begin to educate the community about reentry and things of that nature. And then 2, we want to raise funds. And we are believing to become the next United Way for reentry. We want to be able to fund providers. We want to be able to probably be at that Shark Tank meeting and helping those returning citizens to start their businesses. But that is an amazing thing that God is doing in this time. And you know what? My successor there, Debra, kudos to you. Amen. You have an awesome job and opportunity to do what you do. I love that position, but I needed the extra 40 hours plus a week to put into the things that we're doing now. But it's good to hear and see all of you. And if you need me, you got my information, leerobbins.com. You can contact me with all those resources I just mentioned. Thank you so much, Rachel. Brendan, you're doing an excellent job. We appreciate all of you. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys, thank you for coming, and I think that's it. Russell?
I would like to stand up and put in a good word too for our new sheriff, Tebow Taylor. I happened to meet a fella at the last meeting here that Gregg hosted for people coming into work.
That's right, Brendan came for me.
And of course, we had a whole table full of fat guys from the sheriff's department, and I happened to recognize one of them. Is a guy that I used to work with, as you did, going in the jail, into the units. And it's,
One of the officers?
one of the officers,
Okay.
the last one to speak, and it is now Lieutenant, big smile, Lieutenant, anyway, he's the, all I want to say in Sheriff Taylor's behalf is that when I was at the jail, he was a deputy on the desk. And Sheriff Taylor, I think, knew him from his work before he went to the jail. And he's now a lieutenant, and he's in charge of reaching out to the youth.
Okay, excellent.
And just so happens that I mentioned the Lee is working with an NFL football star from Lanier High School that's recently recruited by the Carolina Panthers. So we're already making connections.
Excellent.
And praise God for Tebow Taylor recognizing the talent in this young man, bringing him up in the ranks and making make use of what his skills are.
For youth outreach, excellent. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see y'all next month.